Ladies and gentlemen, let the games begin. Zweite Session der Happy Bet European Darts Open 2017. Und wir starten mit dem allerersten European Tour Sieger von 2012. Damals mit seinem Sieg in Wiener Neustadt. Ein ehemaliger Top-10-Mann, der aktuell auf Weltranglistenplatz Nummer 30 steht. Wir freuen uns über The Force, Justin Pipe. Justin Pipe nimmt es auf mit der aktuellen Nummer 5 der Welt. Ein großer Autofreak, ein Mann, der schon 8 Major-Titel einfahren konnte. Er hat einen European Tour-Titel gewonnen im vergangenen Jahr in Hamburg. Schön, dass er hier in Leverkusen mit dabei ist. Herzlich willkommen, The Machine, James Wade. Best of 11 Legs, das ist die Distanz hier auf der European Tour bis einschließlich zum Finale. Das heißt, man braucht 6 Legs, um in die zweite Runde einzuziehen. Und der Caller dieser ersten Partie ist Paul Hinks.
Well, welcome back to Leverkusen and the Ostermann Arena for the European Darts Open. It's the 8th Euro Tour event of 12 this year. This afternoon, we saw some convincing wins to start the session. Mark Walsh, James Richardson, John Henderson and Krzysztof Ratajski, all convincing winners. We had some last leg deciders to follow. Stefan Siepman, the host nation qualifier, Aidan Kirk, the debutant, and Robbie Green, all edging through to round 2, and then Dimitri van den Berg just blasted past Matt Clark. So that's 8 players through to the second round here in Leverkusen. 8 more will join them. This evening, we have 4 former winners on the European Tour on the way. Some big names. The informed Cristo Reyes, Mervyn King. And we start with 2 of those former Euro Tour winners clashing against each other. James Wade, the multiple major champion, versus Justin Pipe, the 3-time major semi-finalist. I'm Dan Dawson, Paul Nicholson. The asset is alongside me for this one. The opening game of the night on day 1 of the Happy Bet European Darts Open. It's the Machine James Wade versus the Force Justin Pipe.
As I tweeted earlier, Dan, first game of the night is a repeat of the first ever European Tour final. Back in 2012, Wiener Neustadt, Austria, these two went to war for the first Euro Tour title. It was Pipe's night then.
Ladies and gentlemen, first line assistant in the first,
There has been a lot of water under the bridge in the last 5 years for both of these guys. But both of them still draw a crowd. It has got a lot bigger since this afternoon, a lot louder. Be very interested to see how this game goes, Dan.
Yeah, it certainly will. It's going to be absolutely packed Saturday and Sunday. We're looking at about 3,000 fans in here. I would guess we've probably got about half that number in for this evening's session. But it is already, in the build-up to this evening, proven to be a pretty lively atmosphere. Is that going to play a factor in this one? Justin Pipe, he's a guy who has in the past played with earplugs in just to try and stay focused on the game. He has at times taken them out saying, I felt like I was missing out on something. I wanted to be part of this big party atmosphere. I'm not sure, I can't tell, it doesn't look like he's got him into, oh no, it might do, yeah. Difficult to tell. See, Mervyn King, sort of quite helpfully, usually wears bright yellow ones, so it's dead easy to tell. Like little minions hiding in his head.
And Barneveld wears the ones that are actually custom made for his ears.
Yes.
He's a bit of a tech freak, Mr. Barneveld. He does love anything technical.
He does.
Earplugs to Iron Man statues.
57.
How big, in the context of their season, is this game for both these lads?
Well, it is significant because Justin Pipe has been struggling for a little while.
140.
Been going out early in a number of tournaments as Justin Pipe, but there have been little signs every now and again that he might be coming back into a touch of form. But James Wade, quite frankly, is in the worst form I have ever seen him in. I mean, he's still James Wade, and he still made he made a semi-final in the Euro Tour, the German Darts Masters earlier this year. But that run there, back in the middle of April, is the only time he has made the last 16 of a ranking event.
78.
In that sort of 2.5 month spell, which for James Wade, well, I mean, that's pretty dreadful for him.
As far as Justin's concerned, this game holds a lot of repercussions for his qualification for the World Match Play Championships, doesn't it?
It is, and Justin will be aware of that. Whether he lets himself think about it is another thing entirely. Double top for James Wade. Oh my word, when does he ever do that?
80. Justin, you require 132.
I'm sitting here and I haven't got any words to describe that dart. That must have been a slip. The only possible explanation.
Oh, I've got words, I can't use a lot of them.
Well, 57 and bull for Mr. Pipe.
That looks so awkward for the bullseye. Even if he had hit that, with the way Justin's darts are, that looked, well, he may as well get down on one leg.
James require 20.
The double 10 for James Wade. This is usually a good barometer of how well he's playing.
Game shown in first leg. James Wade.
Mrs. Wade applauds as well she might.
Game on.
Not just a break of throw, not just a win of a leg, but a beautifully thrown dart for double 10. It's about as perfect a double 10 as you'll ever see.
Well, he's given us plenty of examples of a perfect double 10, James Wade.
134.
It's that old thing, isn't it, when aliens fly down and said, you have to hit a certain double,
yeah,
otherwise we will ruin your planet. Well, if it was double 10, it would be Wadey.
Yeah.
Double 14 would be Mensah Suljovic. Double 8 would be Joe Cullen. And so on and so on. Robert Thornton for tops for
45.
Yeah. There's plenty of candidates. But James Wade certainly, double 10, although he's just dropped his dart there. Yeah, James Wade has really struggled over the past couple of months. And it's been strange to see. He's talked about, he told us on the Dart Show, didn't he? He felt there was something missing from his game. Not sure what that was, and maybe it's just confidence. Maybe this weekend he could turn it around. It only takes one weekend for James Wade to play like he can, and then suddenly everything is rosy in the Wadey garden once more.
131.
And we do know that he loves the match play.
Well, let's just emphasise as well that he had to qualify to be here.
Yes.
100.
It's been a long time since he had to do that. You know, we're not used to seeing James Wade on the Euro Tour stage on a Friday night. It's usually Saturday afternoon, Saturday night. And by virtue of not playing well enough over the last 12 months,
41.
when, of course, he won in Hamburg last year, losing that ranking money from his Order of Merit has meant that he's gone outside the top 16 seeds.
Oh, look at this.
87.
Very nearly sublime from James Wade for a 12-dart hold of throw, but Pipe way, way back.
Great first two darts from James, but worryingly, he pulled it on tops again. It went to towards the one segment. It was higher.
Well, not quite so far back now, Justin Pipe, but double top for Wadey, and he can attack this because that leaves double 10. Oh. Double 5 comes to his rescue. It is 2-0 to James Wade, consolidating that early break of throw. And this is a bit more like the Wadey of old, isn't it? I say the Wadey of old, I mean the Wadey of 2.5, 3 months ago. It's not like it's James Wade from several years ago.
140.
At which period in James's career do you think he played his best darts? Because I personally think it was around about the time he won the Grand Prix for the first time.
140.
I think there was a good couple of years spell, wasn't there, where James Wade was just winning big title after big title after big title. And I think he could easily, I say easily, he could have, if he'd beaten Adrian Lewis at the World Championship that time in the famous Draftgate game, he'd have probably gone into that final with a very, very, he might well have been a favourite.
Yeah, I think he would have been favourite in that match, and I guess we'll never know, will we?
No, we won't. And he's a difficult player to predict, obviously. But you just look at the sheer number of things that James Wade has won, and to have spent a couple of years, not in the wilderness as such, but to have had obvious struggles, very public struggles with his mental health and his form and his confidence. And to come back from that, and it was, of course, the Euro Tour that helped turn that around when he won in Gibraltar, convinced himself he could win again. And everything was rosy in the Wadey Garden. He went on to claim the Masters. And looked a genuine threat. I mean, we saw him make the final of the Grand Slam just a few months ago. And was a finalist at the match play a couple of years ago. Be defending that, and that'll be a big test for James Wade, of course, this year at the match play, knowing that there's a big chunk of money coming off his ranking.
131.
That's what the younger guys have got to look forward to, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's all well and good in your first couple of years when you're racking up those points, but when you've been doing it as long as James Wade has, and as long as Justin Piper's been doing it, you'll defend every single season. Try and put that mental strain on yourself, as well as in tough match darts at the same time. Single 20 and double 16 will be the route for Pipe. Double 16, slow, deliberate.
54.
Not quite deadly enough on this occasion, but he's going to come back and look next door at double 8.
What's your money on a 131 here to leave double top?
97.
Let me down.
Not very far away though. And he has left one of those Wadey finishes, which he is so proficient at taking out. But double 8, he'll get Justin Pipe on the board. It's all right, that, for Justin. Yeah, lovely stuff. Justin Pipe does pull a leg back. It's a hold throw. Now, Justin, he will have known that James Wade has been struggling, and he may have sensed an opportunity here to get what would be a very rare win over James Wade, because Justin Pipe's record against the top in darts, well, he's won plenty of games and won plenty of big games. I mean, obviously, he beat James Wade in the final of the Austrian Darts Open back in 2012, has beaten him once since then, but his record against Wade
95.
is worse than his record against Phil Taylor. It's worse than his record against Michael van Gerwen. It's worse than his record against everybody, pretty much, apart from Dave Chisnall, believe it or not.
139.
And I think part of that may be down to the fact that I don't think it bothers James Wade what pace anybody plays against him. I can understand why Gary Anderson, for example, doesn't have as good a record against Justin Pipe and Michael van Gerwen to an extent. But James Wade has a number of career victories, in fact 11 over Justin Pipe, and has only lost twice.
140.
That is rather emphatic.
It really is. And Justin has not beaten James Wade since a UK Open qualifier in March 2013. So if he does go and turn this around, Justin Pipe, and win, it would be more than 4 years. He'd been waiting for this victory, and he doesn't need to go 20 bullseye, but treble 10 tops.
65.
Tops isn't really working for him, but the thing is with James Wade, when you're the best double 10 hitter in the world, it's not that much of an issue most of the time.
The worrying thing, though, Dan, is that on tops, which is his banker double for those 104s and 107s,
that's the thing.
That's the shot he needs to pull out the legs that he's noted for, you know?
Yeah, that is the exact thing.
The
double 10. And once again, James Wade holds throw. Yeah, there are going to be stages in this match, you would think, where James Wade is going to get checkouts, and he has one dart at tops. And so far, that one dart has not been finding the mark. However, he's had more time to play with so far in this game. And the real, the thing that has made James Wade one of the greats over the last few years, and one of the greats of all time, look at his record, is the fact that when he really needs to hit something, he does. Because the man has guts. He's got bottle.
100.
Well, Justin was telling me yesterday at the airport when we arrived in Dusseldorf that he's using a brand new set of barrels this week. They've got less chips and stuff in them. He's been using them for about a week.
60.
And he really, really likes, thinks that they will make a difference over the coming weeks.
I think he might have gone up in weight, I think he was telling me. Just not a fraction as Wade.
140.
Quite find the maximum, but 140 is enough to get the fans here on their feet.
Oh, James has changed very little about his setup in the last decade. He toyed with using a different colour flight, which looked all out strange for the 2 hours that he used them. Same stem, same barrel, same point. Maybe the point's got a tiny bit longer over the years. There's a little bit of ghost gripping at the top of the barrel now, just for extra security. But aside from that, nothing has changed since he won the World Match Play in 2007. 2008? 2008.
No, you're right,
2007.
Change required 160.
He made the final in 2008.
Well, Piper's just managed to claw his way back into this leg,
90.
but that will apply some pressure.
52.
And as we said, James Wade has not been hitting tops very much. He would... Oh, well, he might not even get a go at the 71. But he will. In which case, Wade will be praying for treble 17 first dart to give him 2 at double 10. Because if he only hits a single 17 and he has to go 14 tops,
98.
tops hasn't worked so far.
71.
Maybe this is the turning point, you never know. Will it be a treble 17? It'll be a 14, we know that.
Can he raise his game?
31.
Not in this instance. This time missing high. He's missed high, he's missed wide, he's missed low. It's everywhere but in the double top bed. Pipe, is he going 18, double 18? He is. Just stack it over the top of it. Oh, no, dear. Doesn't like that, does he?
Got to go left. Same weight.
18.
He knows the importance of that.
14.
Looks at his fist in anguish. And it's Tops.
Shot on the fifth leg. James Wade.
Tops is all right now. 4-1 Wade.
Game on.
Pipe has a lot of work to do.
Yes, he really does. Justin Pipe staring down the barrel now of a 12th career defeat to James Wade, who is not letting up.
140.
And we talked about James Wade's struggles over the last couple of months or so, but this is a sort of typical Wade performance. He's not blowing Justin away here, but he's just doing enough. He's a dart ahead in most legs. He's not been quite as clinical as he might have been, but he's been clinical enough, and James Wade is the absolute master of doing just enough. Absolute master of doing Justin over right now.
I don't know whether it's the camera angles, because they do tend to fluctuate from week to week on the European Tour. I think that James's darts are going in slightly more upright this week, which is a good sign, because for far too long they've been going in too flat.
53.
And he's had to just try and group them together as best he can, whereas before, when they were upright like that, he could just smash them into each other and score lots of big scores.
100.
You see, that's a steady tone in anybody's language, but when James Wade was playing his best stuff, he wouldn't have had a ton there. He would have had a maximum 180 or a 140.
Yeah, I wonder whether it's conditions, you know, because, I mean, he struggled in Dubai, didn't he? He was beaten by Gerwyn Price in his opening game, as Wade looks at the 117. He's not going to take it out, and even if he had put 2 treble 20s in, I would have expected him to lay up. But we have played a couple of Euro Tours in sweltering conditions, and indeed Pro Tours in sweltering conditions lately, and it can affect how the darts fly. You wonder whether it's been something that Wade has struggled to adapt to.
Well, over the course of 10 years, you get these little differences in your action and your technique. I've said on a few occasions over the last few months that maybe it's time for Wade to try a couple of new things.
James requires 65.
Always hit a bullseye when you go for the 25. But it will be double 4.
57. Justin, you require 130.
Well, Justin Pipe may be wanting a bullseye in a few seconds' time, and if he doesn't hit it, it may be curtains. Oh, that's so hard. How do you get to the treble 20 from there, Justin? That's how you do it. And he does want the bullseye. Oh, just didn't quite give it enough. And double 4 for Wadey. Double 2. Still double 2. Darts missed for 5-1. Justin Pipe has a lifeline.
25.
Has a lifeline indeed, but you can't phone a friend. No 50-50s in this game. We ask the audience, what do they say?
Not
meant to be.
No.
4.
2 darts missed at double A for Justin Pipe, and he may feel that this game is slipping further and further away from him. Wadey getting further and further towards the double 2 and into the double 2, and 5-1 it is. And James Wade looking to extend his run of consecutive victories over Justin Pipe to 5 here. The last 3 meetings have all come on the European Tour, twice last year. One before that was in 2014. Wade has won all of them, and a couple of them very convincingly 6-2. And we may have something very similar here, because Justin Pipe's woes against James Wade, even an out-of-form James Wade, look to be continuing.
One interested party will be Dave Chisnell. He plays the winner of this one. Dave Chisnell having had a week off last week, which I think, in the context of his season, is quite sensible.
He doesn't miss much, Chizzy.
He really doesn't. But he does have a young daughter to look after as well. And we've got a lot of family men in darts. Sometimes you have to make time for your kids and your better halves. Dave's chosen to do that, but he's back this week. He'll be fresh, hungry, and ready to go.
100.
Very interesting, those stats that we're flashing up for you there. James Wade, first 9 average 113. That's pretty good. And he's not, he's not a huge scorer, James Wade, but that's still pretty good. His overall average is down in the low 90s, and it's largely down to the fact his finishing hasn't been that good.
83.
And it wouldn't surprise you if those 2 numbers were a lot closer together and James Wade was hitting 40-45% minimum of his doubles. That would be a normal Wade performance. This hasn't quite been typical Wade. But Justin Pipe, if you're only hitting 1 in 8, then you're going to give yourself problems.
Very true. He's looking to leave 160 here. Can only do that with a treble 19.
57.
Oh, and that's unlucky. It really is. Half the time that'll bounce into the treble 19. Not today.
He hasn't had much fortune today, Justin Pipe, but
92.
Then again, he hasn't made much of his own luck today either.
That's been the problem. The first dart has not been sitting in the bottom half of the 60 so he can build it up. Yeah. He's been searching the whole game.
98.
He still has produced some incredible darts to find his way to the 60, but he's made it so hard for himself on occasion, Justin Pipe, and this might be, oh well, it might not be. It's got to be 12-14 tops, hasn't it? It has to be. Oh, once again he misses double top. Justin Pipe to stay alive. James Wade on double 10 for the match. You can't let him. You can't let him. You cannot let him have a go at it. Tops. No, he's gone the treble and he doesn't hit it. And he has let James Wade have darts at double 10 for the match for a 6-1 win.
2 10s for Wadey. Familiar territory, which he punctuates with a typical double 10 and an apology, which we don't like. Well done to James Wade for a 6-1 win. Justin Pipe will be very disappointed, but we will see more of him later this season. James Wade, he may not be back to best form, but he got the result tonight and he's on the way back to getting results, which is exactly what he needs to do. He will be playing on a Saturday, something that he is very used to. We will see him against Dave Chisnell tomorrow. We look forward to that, and we'll see what James saw of that performance with Elmore right now.
The best game we saw, but that's a good start in the tournament.
I won a bloody game. Come on, give me some credit. The crowd have been brilliant tonight, and I've been struggling. Now that one's out the way, I'll start playing darts again.
But in general, if if your wife Sammy's in the house, my feeling is things are different. You're in a good mood. You've got a different body language, I would say.
I have to be in a different mood, you know, because she's the boss. Every man has a good woman that supports them, makes them go on, and when times are bad, they're there for you, you know, they're your best friend. They're also your worst enemy as well, especially when it comes to washing up.
On your back there's a number plate. You actually have to change this one. That's the European thing on it. When will you do that?
Well, I might do. I got quite fortunate. I got a nice number plate in England, but we're not going to go into that. But no, European number plate. To be fair, how much we play over here now, it's probably more relevant.
James, we see you tomorrow. Thank you very much. James Wade. Der Mann mit dem Nummernschild auf dem Rücken, weil er ein großer Autofan ist. Und er wird irgendwann wahrscheinlich seine